Good day.
Do you want to know what it's in here? There's a bucket with all the carrots that we harvested. There's a bucket of carrots saved in water, so they remain fresh, and we can can them. This been there like 2 days. So, and if you see, they stay fresh as the moment that they were harvested. This is what I'll be doing today. Peeling and cutting all this. We'll bring you. I'll start peeling them. So I'm gonna be there like forever, but it's okay. Look how beautiful these vegetables are. Hopefully, yeah, they're beautiful. So I'll be enjoying the rest of the afternoon just peeling this. And when I have them cut and ready to be canned, I'll bring you along. So I've been peeling and cutting carrots during the afternoons in the week, and I'm keeping them in the fridge in water, and they remain the same way that they were when they got harvested. This is just a miracle. Still peeling carrots to finish my carrots for canning today. Okay, I'm doing it until I finish all the bucket. Probably asking am I peeling the carrots if they're from my garden, and my garden is completely organic. Well, the reason is because when you harvest a vegetable and you're gonna can it, it's better if you harvest it and can it in, let's say, immediately, or really immediately after, or the same day, let's say. I'm not able to do that, at least not this time. So, and the reason is because you don't want bacteria to grow in your veggies and all that good stuff. That can, damage your veggies when they're canned. So what I do is I peel them, trying to prevent that from happening. But this, if you see this, this peeling is so thin, so thin, that you don't even need to peel them. But I just do it because I don't want bacteria in mine. If you look at all the canning books, they normally say that you should can vegetables immediately after, or in a short period after you harvest them. So that's the reason. Cut the rest of it. We are almost there. Almost there. We finished cutting our carrots, and we're going to proceed to wash them again. Obviously, this is not my recipe. This is a recipe from the book Complete Book of Home Preserving from Ball, that I got from Amazon. And the recipe is in page 389, but it refers you back to 385, which is that vegetables, 385, which is method of pressure canning vegetables. So it does have a recipe for carrots, but it looks like for a lot of vegetables you do the same thing. Okay, so right now I am heating a little bit of water because I'm doing the raw pack. And what I did is, since I don't have to sterilize the jars, I just need to wash them thoroughly, be sure that they're squeaky clean, but they need to be hot. So what I do is I put them in the microwave with a little bit of water to get a little bit hot, so I can go ahead and can them. In the meantime, I'm going to get a little bit of vinegar that I'm going to use to clean the rims. I'm also getting the water to the canner. My canner indicates that I need to have between 2 and 3 inches of water. This is a pressure canner. 23, I think it's liters, Presto canner. That's done. Put it in the stove so it starts heating up a little bit. Everything should be kind of at the same temperature so the jars don't crack. I'm going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of vinegars to my little thing that I'm going to use to clean my jars, the rims. So I have all the area cleaned and I have everything that I will need in here to be able to can. This is to pick up the jars because they're going to be hot. We have a debubbler here, and that's also a gauge for the headspace. This is a little instrument that you use to get the lids, a funnel, obviously my carrots, pickling salt, which I move a little bit in here for easy usage, the rims, the vinegar, the water is hot already. And what is missing? The jars. Let's get them. Take out the water that was in the microwave. Okay. I'm gonna put another 20 seconds to the others that are in there so they stay hot. Always be careful because all this is hot. So what I'm going to start doing is adding the carrots to the jar. I'm wondering how beautiful this is gonna look with all the colors. Well, they're not all the colors because if you put red or purple carrot in here, it's gonna dye the entire jar. Keep adding. Again, my hands are squeaky clean to think this has too much. When you add the liquid, the bubble is probably going to accept more, but for now, we are fine. Our salt. The salt is not mandatory, but I like to get the salt in there for the canning because it not only helps preserving, but also adds a little bit of flavor. Let me add the water. And as per instructions, it should have 1 inch headspace. So let's debubble it. And what this is going to do is to find any spaces that are, with air and take the air out. Sometimes you can even see the bubbles when they're getting out. Be sure that you find all the air spaces in your jar. And then let's try. You all know this, but I'm going to translate this to Spanish for some friends, so I'm going to show this. So each one of these represents a 1/4 inch. So if you put this in the yard, and it's here, you just can't see it. It's 1 inch, 3/4, a half, and a 1/4 inch. So when you put this in the jar and put it like right there, the water should be exactly touching the surface of the bottom. And here, there's too much water. Let me see if I can put it in there. Too much water. And then in here, there is too small amount of water. So we kind of need to add a little bit to this one and take a little bit from this one. Let's take a little bit of this one, put it in that one. And I think we should be okay. Let's see. Not yet. Not yet. This is perfect. And this still needs to take out a little bit. Okay, that is perfect. So now we're going to clean the rims. We have to clean them. So I put a little bit of vinegar from here, directly from here. Try not to touch it because the grease of your hands can, you know, be a factor in the canning. So you're gonna clean it, completely cleaned. I'm gonna do both at the same time. Be sure that there's nothing in there. Then I'm going to get the leads that are washed and cleaned, and they're kept in a kind of warm water in there. So I don't have anything that is like super cold. So then you get them, remember not to touch them, hand tight. Just hand tight, not super or not open, just hand tight. That's all you need. Okay. Get them to the canner. I just want to show you this. Ain't this pretty? I wonder how that's gonna look when they're completely processed. Not sure if I mentioned before that the reason I'm pressure canning the carrots is because the carrots are a low acidic fruit, and low acidic fruits need to be pressure canned. You know, vegetables other than tomatoes. Even people is recommending now to pressure can tomatoes too. I also want to mention that I want to do a combination of regular mouth and also wide mouth containers or jars. Be sure that there are no air spaces or air buckets on this one. Yeah, I think I have to take out a couple of carrots from here. No, it's fine. Half a teaspoon of salt. You guys, add the salt before cleaning the rings, just in case. So you have your last two spaces to fill in the first layer of the pressure canner. Then you're going to add your 2 jars, and then you're going to put another base in here. So the cans that you're going to put in here stay, don't disturb the bottom ones and have a more steady surface to be in. To get used to the process, or the temperatures are higher, like in the summer, you probably can get all the jars and get them hot, and they will stay hot enough so you don't have to do like 2 or 3 at a time. In here, yeah, it's cold these days. Today outside is 26, and even when in the house I keep the temperature like in the 72 degrees. It's still chilly. I don't know, I feel it chilly. In order for you to keep your water hot enough to not to have to stop and wait for the water, be sure that you have enough water. Like I didn't have enough for this one, but I have a kettle and that's what I use. But you can use a big pot or something like that, so you can have enough water hot all the time so you don't have to stop and wait for the water. I'm not stopping because I still have 2 other jars that I needed to finish, so I can just finish mine. They already have the salt. I put the salt before I put the water on them, so I can finish this. That's it. I try to balance the weight and the top layer of the canner. So there's no like going back and forth. There's not a lot of movement in there, but there's pressure. So I want to be sure that I do it right. So for closing, put the rest of the vinegar inside of the water. People say that that helps to keep the jars clean. I hope you see in here. Get the match, and then it says that to close it. If you have trouble closing it, check the inside. Be sure that everything is correctly in the inside, but you were supposed to check that before. So then you close it, and what is going to happen now is you're going to turn a little bit higher the temperature, and once the water inside of the canner is, sorry about the mess. Once the water inside of the canner is hot enough, it's going to start sending some steam through this valve. So once this is like 10 minutes already sending steam, like consistent steam, then you are going to cover it with the. There are other things that you need to know in your pressure canner. You see this air vent. If it's down, it means there's no enough pressure inside of the canner. But if it's up, it means that it's already in pressure. Minutes already that it's venting a lot of steam. So I'm going to put the pressure regulator in top of it and wait until the gauge marks 10 or 11 pounds. Then the time will start. So the pressure gauge is already in 10 pounds. If you see, the pressure lock is up and the valve is moving. This is a 10-pound pressure regulator. I'm going to turn down a little bit the temperature so it stays in 10 pounds, 10, 11 pounds for the time. I'm going to set up the timer for I'm sorry. I'm going to set up the timer for 25 minutes. When you're pressure canning, you always have to be taking care of the canner. You can't just go away and leave it. You always have to be sure that it's keeping temperature, because if not, you have to start over. The time is up, and what I'm going to do right now, I'm not touching the canner. I'm going to turn off the temperature, the stove, and wait until there's no pressure and this is down. So I know that there's no pressure at all and it's safe to open. So pressure came up to 0. There's no pressure anymore. This valve is down. So it's time to open it. Remember that you're going to open it allowing the steam to escape to the other side, not to your face. You don't want to get burned. Sorry. Okay. I'm excited about the colors. Ooh. Look at this. Look at these colors. So beautiful. So let me take them out. Expecting them to, they're gonna see them like this because they were roll pack. So there's going to be some space at the bottom. That is going to be just the liquid. I think sometimes that when it gets colder, it will drop a little bit. I think there was one of the jars, at least one that siphoned out, because in here I can see some color. Normally they will seal anyways. Look. There will be 14 jars of homegrown carrots to add to the pantry. Isn't that great? It's the next day and I'm here to wash, clean, and label all the jars that we canned yesterday. The wash process should be something really easy. Just attach the ring. Be sure that you check that it's sealed. So what I do is I put just a little bit of soap to remove everything that could be attached to the jar, and then do a quick rinse. Always keeping it, in this upright position, and then we keep doing it until we finish. So with a dry towel, let's remove all the extra water that is in the, we'll try to dry them as much as we can. We're gonna let them rest a little bit until it's completely dried, and then label them. Here you go. They are all washed, dried, and labeled, and they will be added to the pantry. I normally put a G if it's directly from my garden, then what is in there, and the date that I can them. Let's get them to the pantry. Till next time. Bye.